Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back today to do my February check-in for my hashtag Team Project Pan 2022. So this is a full face rolling project pan of makeup only. But if you're not sure what this project is, last month I did do an introduction where I talk about all the products that I'm planning on panning this year. I talk about the format of this project pan and all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in learning more about it, I will have that linked down below. But as per usual, I'll start with products that I've used up. And yes, even though this has been 1 month into the project pan, there's been a couple of products that I've used up and one that I've almost used up. So I'm going to consider it done and swap in a new product to replace it. The two products that I sort of completely used up are my eyeliners. So I had a Pixi Waterline eyeliner. This is a black shade and this was going from my last year's project pan. So it was a carry-on. I knew there wasn't much left. I knew I could get it done in a month and I did. It's completely empty. I will have a comparison on the screen of where I was up to last month. Yeah, easy done. I just wanted to finish that off because I think, like I said last month, if I put this back into my collection, it'd probably go dry and go bad and I'd forget about it. So I thought I'll just try to finish it up. Last month, I also introduced this liquid liner from Smashbox. Now, I've actually had this for a long time, so I thought it's about time I use it up. And I've been using it fairly regularly. I like it. It doesn't bleed on me, it doesn't smudge. It lasts fairly well. And I tend to have quite watery eyes, so I'm a bit hit and miss when it comes to liquid eyeliners. I find 50% of them don't last very well on me and do sort of bleed and fade on the inner corners of my eyes, whereas some work really well, and this was one that I liked. So I thought I would try to finish this up. And I was using this the other day. I tried to use it, I think 2 days in a row, and it just wouldn't complete both eyes. So I'd put one on, I'm like, oh yeah, that looks all right. Then I go to put the other one on and I'm like, it's a real effort to get it looking bold and to get it looking even. Bit of tugging, a bit of like, yeah, it's getting dry. I think I've used it up. So I'm considering it done. Now what I'm going to replace those with are two brown eyeliners. Those were both black. I actually much prefer brown. So I thought I'd just pull out some brown liners I've had around for a while. Things that I think I can use on a fairly regular basis and things I don't really want in my collection anymore. Like they're not bad products, I just don't really reach for them. The first one is the Cheekathon. This is the 1 Kill Eyeliner Liquid Brush Pen. So it's a Korean eyeliner and it's got a nice brush applicator and it's nice thin point and it's just a nice brown color. So I thought that's something I can use every day. It's not as bold as a black, so it doesn't look as intense. I don't look like I'm wearing so much makeup on a daily basis, like I'm wearing quite a lot today, but on a daily basis, I like to pull it back a little bit. So brown is a good way to sort of emphasize the lash line without it looking too overdone. So I'm going to weigh that and keep track of that. And then the pencil is from LH Cosmetics or Linda Hallberg. And this was I think it was in a limited edition pack. So I don't know if it's a shade that's available permanently, but it's Calf Flash. And again, this is sort of just like it's like a taupey brown, which is really pretty. So again, I can sort of just put this and smudge it on the lash line for a quick sort of look. Or what I'll probably use this for is on my waterline because I don't like that stark, fleshy waterline. It doesn't suit my eye shape. I know some people love it and they emphasize it with nude eyeliners. For me, I prefer to sort of tone it back a little bit with a brown, and I find shimmery browns work quite nicely on the waterline. We'll see how I go with these. Then the item that I've sort of completed is my bronzer. This again was a carry-on from last year. So last year when I introduced this cream bronzer into my project pan, it was like to the top and then I slowly worked through it. I think I introduced it in like July or something like that last year. And now look how much I have left. I was thinking of delaying this video until this was finished, but today's the only day my mum is looking after my kid, so I sort of have to do it today. But this is like 1 or 2 uses left, and compared to where I was up to last month, I've done a very good job. I do want to say though that I have been mixing this a bit with my foundation. So my foundation that I'm using in my project pan is my Estee Lauder Double Wear Light in the shade N21 Desert Beige. This, look, I'm not loving this in summer. It is very hot this summer. I'm spending a lot of time upstairs, which is even hotter than outside or downstairs. So this has been sweating off my face a lot, But also one reason why it doesn't suit me so well in summer is because it's too light. I do still want to keep it in my project pan for now because there's nothing in my collection that is sort of really suitable for this time of year unless it's a full coverage foundation, which I don't want to use on a daily basis anyway. So I'm going to keep at this one. But what I found recently that I like doing is actually putting a little bit in the pan here and sort of mixing it a little bit with the bronzer, applying it so it's a little bit warmer, and then going in with the bronzer and adding a little bit more warmth to the outer corners of my face. So that's how I've sort of been using this, and I like the combination. I think it works really well. But because this is technically done, I am going to actually replace it with another bronzer, and because I want to keep using this in a similar way, I thought I'm going to bring back my Huda Beauty Tantour in the shade Fair. Now, I think I started panning this, I don't think it was last year, I think it was the year before. So it's been a while since I've used this. This is a much more pigmented, much darker, richer cream contour bronzer product. So it's a bronzer contour in one, hence the Brontour, is that what they call it? Yeah, Brontour. So I'm not going to be able to use this as fast as my Chanel one. The Chanel one was really good because even on like really low makeup days, what I'd sort of do is take sort of like a fluffier brush and I'd pick up a little bit and even just run it down my neck and on my face a little bit for a little bit of color. Whereas you can't do that with this because it will look like ridiculous. It'll look ridiculous. So what I want to do is try to bring this one back and use it in conjunction with this to sort of warm up the foundation and see how it goes. If I don't like this combination, if it's not working, I'll take them out at my quarterly refresh. But right now I'm sort of found a way to use this that I like in this sort of climate anyway. And then I've used up the product that goes with it. So I'm trying to see if I can find a replacement. I may as well give an update on how this foundation is going. So I have been using it quite a few days, not every day, because again, it's been really hot. I'm wearing it today, but on low sort of makeup days, I tend to wear just the powder or even a powder foundation or nothing. So I haven't been wearing it every day, but this was at 38.57 grams when I first introduced it, and it's at 32.7 grams now. So I have been making good progress. I can't see through it, so I can't mark it, which is frustrating because I find that to be a lot more motivating than the weight. But I can't even tell because it's quite a thicker foundation. I can't shake it and sort of feel like where it's up to. And I'll just throw it on the ground. Let's move on. All right, onto the things I'm making some good progress on. Powder. Now, I introduced this powder last month. Obviously, it's the start of the project, but this was almost full. Yeah, I use a lot of powder, guys. Not only in this climate am I finding that I'm like hotter and sweatier, so I need to set down my makeup even more to keep it on my face, but I have also been using this a little bit as like a powder foundation. So on sort of days where especially in the morning, when I'm taking my son out somewhere, like if we've got an appointment or a play date or something, and I haven't had time to put a quick face on, I'll just put a little bit of this powder on and maybe a bit of mascara, lip gloss, and out we go. So I have sort of been using this, yeah, sometimes as a foundation. It doesn't last super long. It's just a quick fix. But since it does have quite a lot of coverage, it works quite well for covering bits and pieces. So yeah, that is how quickly I can use powder because I have oily skin and it's summer and my powder usage is through the roof. Let's talk more about products that have some decent visible progress on, and then I'll talk about the things that I'm sort of, that you can't see much progress on, but I'm still using. So the first thing I want to talk about is my Colourpop Ultra Glossy Lip in the shade Queen Cobra. I'm not wearing it right now, but I have been wearing it quite a bit. No, I lie. I've been wearing it a little bit. I am back sort of doing my Project Apocalypse, so trying different lip products every day. So I mainly only use this on no makeup days when I'm not planning on taking a photo of my lip product, or sometimes if I'm getting ready in the morning or I'm editing at night, I might put a bit of lip gloss on, but it's not often. It's definitely not daily. It's probably only a couple times a week, but look at the progress. So last month it was up to there, the settle line, and now it's down to there. And look, that is a lot of progress. There's a lot of product on the side that I'll eventually scrape off and get more use out of when I take the stopper out, but that's a crazy amount. Like, look at the settle line. I can't believe it. For something that's not being used too often, that's crazy usage. So I have a lot of faith that I can get through quite a few lip glosses this year, which I'm happy about because I have too many of them. Another thing with visible progress, I've got my finishing spray. So this is my Uemura Skin Perfector in Cypress, and this was something that I had in last year. So I started it earlier this year up to there, and now I've just had a little bit of usage, not too much. Again, since I'm not wearing like sort of heavier makeup, I wear like really quick makeup, I tend to skip a lot of steps. I skip this step. I also skip my primer step quite a lot. So yeah, not heaps of progress, but just a little bit. Talking about my primer stick, this is the Smashbox Photo Finish Iconic Primer Stick. I thought this would be done by this check-in because I've only got a little nub to go, and I'm pretty sure this is a carry-on from last year. And last check-in I was like, I made so much progress from December through to January. This will be done in no time, but I really just haven't been reaching for it. Again, another layer of product on my face when it's hot and sweaty and my makeup is like just smearing off my face. It's not a tempting thing to do, especially with a silicone sort of stick, where even though it can look nice and blur your pores and do whatever, it does add a layer of slip to your face. So my foundation is more inclined to move and want to slip off and transfer. So this is something I haven't been using much, but I will have progress on the screen. I think there's a little bit, but not too much. All right, let's talk about my Cheekathon palette. I have been using this quite a lot. My kid has had his fingers in it a little bit. So there are a little dent here and there. I might have to put photos on the screen because it's really hard to see in this light anyway, a comparison. I think when I took the original photo, it was in crappy light and on my phone. So I just haven't set up like my photo taking area. So I've just been relying on photos on my phone. So if the quality comparison isn't that great, hopefully when we start seeing some pan, it'll look a lot more clearer. But what I have noticed, firstly, I haven't used the bronzer too much, just a couple of times, because I have been mainly using the cream. Also, you really need to set your base to make this not look patchy. It's a beautiful bronzer. I love the tone, and with a set base, it blends really nicely. But if you have any stickiness to your base, it tends to grip and look a bit patchy, and you've got to really work at it to blend it out. So that's not the most ideal for summer for me at the moment, but I do like that. Barely touched that blush because it's not my jam. I've used Dallas a little bit. On quick sort of makeup days, I will sort of use it as a bronzer blush in one. So I'll just tap it in and sort of just put it around this area and then up a little bit just to add a little bit of dimension to my face. But the ones I've been using the most, Coralista. Now this doesn't add any color to my face, or I can feel a dent in the pan. I can actually feel a dent. So it sort of is higher here, and I've been mainly targeting this area because that's just naturally where I put my brush. But you can see when I actually put on my finger, it is like lighter than my skin tone. So this is actually a really nice subtle highlighter. So I don't really use it as a blush because again, it doesn't add any color, but it adds a really soft luminosity. And on days where I'm not wearing much makeup, but I want a little bit of sheen to counteract any powderiness I have, this is a really nice one. But yeah, to me, it's more of a really subtle highlighter. It's not so much a blush. And I've also seen some wearing down on the rock design of Couture. So again, this is like a rosier blush, which is not my sort of jam, but it also has a nice luminosity to it. So I can use these as sort of like blush highlighter in one. And it's just like a one-step easy thing. So I have actually seen quite a lot of progress on that one and this one. Okay, highlighter. I haven't been using this every day, to be honest. I don't think you'll see much progress. I will have photos on the screen, but I am using it today. It is pretty. I do enjoy it. But I think because it is bougie and because it's been so hot and makeup hasn't been lasting, I'm just like, I can't be bothered with this step. And yeah, especially with something like Couture, when you can sort of do the blush and highlighter in one, this has sort of been only used a couple of times a week. All right, I'm not sure if you can see much difference in my MAC Pro Longwear Paint Pot in the shade Painterly. Again, this is a carry-on from last year. I started using it from when it was pretty much full, and now there's only a little like crescent moon left, but I'll have comparison photos on the screen. I have been using this mainly whenever I use eyeshadows. There's a couple times I'll use like a stick eyeshadow, or sometimes I'm like, oh, it's just a wash of shimmer, I'll just not have a base on. but I still do, yeah, use this most days. With my Bobbi Brown Gel Eyeliner Duo, I have only used this a couple of times each, so I'm not even gonna bother putting a comparison on the screen. It's so dark, you can't really see any update, and I think I've only used it 4 times, so you're not gonna see a difference in a gel eyeliner in 4 applications. But I did use up those 2 other eyeliners, so I don't feel bad for neglecting that. When it comes to my brow pomade, again, this was a carry-on from last year, and again, I have been using it a lot, but until we hit some form of pan and see the pan sort of expand each week, there's no point doing close-up photos, but I can assure you I've been using it most days. Last 2 things are things that I have weighed. So I've got my Hourglass Caution Extreme Lash Mascara. So this is just a mini. And I've also got my Covergirl Outlast Extreme Wear Concealer. So when it comes to the mascara, that was at 17.9 grams and now it's at 17.36 grams. So I have been using quite a lot of it, which is great. So there we go. I was very confused for a second. The concealer was at 17.09 grams last month and is at 15.86 grams this month. So again, I've been holding it the wrong way. Been using quite a lot of it, which is good. This is quite, it's quite light for me, and it does have a lot of coverage, but not like, I don't want to say not nice coverage, just sort of like cakey coverage. So I only use the smallest amount. When I use this, I dot a tiny bit on my inner corner of my eyes and then maybe a little bit on my nose. And when I dot it, I literally like do like dot. And I sort of blend that out. So I'm not using heaps, but I'm obviously using enough to see progress, which is great. All right, so that's my update for February. I hope if you're doing a project pan yourself, you're starting to see some progress that will hopefully keep you going and keep you motivated. If you haven't seen any progress, don't feel deterred. I can tell you from experience that a lot of products, especially sort of like products that are almost full, it takes at least 3 months to sometimes see some good progress. Unless you're like me and you literally eat powder for breakfast, then yeah, it can take 3 months to start seeing good progress. So I think the only reason why I've seen the amount of progress that I have this month is because the 2 eyeliners were really heavily used. And the bronzer, again, I was using it for 6 months last year in my project pan. So they were sort of products that were on their last legs anyway. The products that were sort of just introduced, like you're seeing a fraction of usage. So keep at it. Keep at it. So thank you so much for watching. If you missed any of the names of the products or I didn't say them, sometimes that happens, I will have them listed in the description box below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.